Good afternoon. Welcome to Nar Shalom in Jerusalem. We started Torah Pei Dalet 84 yesterday, and we learned a very important principle about the idea of the good that is buried in each day. There's a good that is assigned, it's coming out, it's flowing out of each day of the week according to a whole pattern of the lights of Hashem, and each of those goodnesses, those sparks of goodness in each day are buried in the Kabbalah, in the hidden Torah. And so when you talk about good, we're not talking about a good that is measured in human terms, but it's the good that God tells us is good. It's sparks of His Torah, which are really God and His Torah and Israel are one. So we're getting sparks of Hashem that are buried in each day. And we have to have merit to do that. And when a person enters, we learned also that enters those secret teachings that have those sparks of goodness for each day, and he's not yet prepared, then he will get confused. His thoughts will be troubled. He'll get attacks from external thoughts. He calls them the snakes and the scorpions of the mind. But when a person wants it very much, his desire overwhelms the snakes and the scorpions of the mind, and they open the gates of understanding for him in these very deep and important sparks of good in each day. And as we said, when you have one spark of good can change the whole day, and you change the whole way you look at the world that particular day. And just to back up a bit more, we have the beginning of the Torah. They ask Rabbi Yeshua ben Levi, how did you become so old? And he said, because he was vatran with this money. So now we're going to the Rebbe's going to tie in this idea of becoming elderly and wise and alive with strength in the later years of one's life is connected to not being overly attached to one's money and forgiving people their money issues in general. And now he's going to take that idea of being forgiving with money and connect it to what I'm going to translate as the purification of money itself. How do we see it? And this is what the ancient teacher asked the other ancient teacher, how did you become so old? That is to say, what trait, what quality of all the traits that did you enter into the good in each day? So he's telling us on the side that it's this good in each day that is the real power pack. It's the real spark of strength that's going to make your life long and fruitful with a sharp mind and a good body. It's to get that spark that's buried in each day in the hidden Torah. And how you became an elder and a wise person. One of the great ones, he says, and he answered him, I was forgiving my money and business dealings, etc. And that is the trait of Avram Avinu. And this is the gate of love. That when you love, you don't get stuck in the tiny nickels and dimes of life, right? When you're into the state of the big love of Hashem and the Torah and the Jewish people and the land of Israel and how it all is so perfectly woven together, then you don't get caught in the small things of money, because in the end, how much can you take with you? Well, and this is the side, the Sitra de Yamina, the right side of the tree of life. Says over there, the Sitra de Yamina mochach ivarka kaspa. On the right side is connected to this idea of the mental power, which is purified, white, purified like silver. That is to say, all the prosecutors, all the negative thoughts, strange thoughts that confuse a person's thinking, that prevent him from going into that spark of that day's good through the vessel of the Torah. They are purified like silver. Silver, when it comes out of the earth, it doesn't come out like nice and bright and shiny like your used to seeing your silver, right? It's rather, it's mixed in with ore, with slag. And so it needs to be smelted, it needs to be burnt and melted and separated, the good from what we don't want. And this is the same idea as the relationship to money. That we have this issue with money, and you know, I don't think we have to look too far to find it in the world, to find it in business, to find it in politics, to find it everywhere. There are issues with money. And this kaspa has been purified, like the mind. See, so the Rebbe is comparing purifying the mind to purifying money. That you remove those snakes and scorpions of the mind, and you're able to get to that spark of good in that day. Just like if you take your money and you use it properly and you do good with it, and you make people happy with it, and you spread the wealth instead of being nickel and diming your way through life, then you remove the attachments, that slag in the heart around money. And then it says about Avram Zaken Ba'al Biyamim, and Avram was elderly. He was an elder, and he came into his days. Now, days in Kabbalah are measures of the goodness. That all his days were whole and complete. There were not holes left in his day. They were complete. They were filled with light. Because from the right side of the tree is this purified brain. In other words, the tree of light, there is no impurity on the tree of light. There's just the traits of God's ultimate, infinite, cosmic personality. And we get little collections, each of us, and we want to purify them to make them like the original. Why not? It's a worthy ambition. Now is the principle we had before also in the previous lesson, that you take the prosecutor and you make him into the defending attorney. The one that said, look, his brain is not pure, I'm going to send snakes into his, confuse his thinking so he's not able to learn Kabbalah. Suddenly he says, no, this guy has purified his mind. He's the one that can receive the Torah, the light of Hashem, directly, purely, without it causing problems to his soul and in his life. Which people that do come into Kabbalah unprepared, they oftentimes cause themselves damage, and even to people around them. And that's really a separate discussion unto itself. I'm not going to go there today. Anybody who's had any business around the Jewish world in terms of the learning of the secrets of Torah, of Kabbalah, you'll see there's always a few people that come around that are not really ready, and they cause problems, you know. They get too excited and they break their vessel, and then they say things and do things that are inappropriate for who they really are. And this idea of the purified mind that takes the very prosecution of and turns it into the defense. This, we define that, is that we get to the level where every day you find that day's good. Every day you find that secret, that spark. And you know, when you go to bed at night, you're going to get up in the morning and you're going to find some new spark of good. And you know what? It trains the mind to look for that and to see that and find that. And when you have the foundation of Kabbalah, which we learn every night on webyeshiva.org, every Thursday night on webyeshiva.org, we learn about the foundations of Kabbalah. When you have those foundations in place, then when you look at life, you filter your experience differently. When you filter your experience differently, the light of Hashem shines through your soul. The light of joy, the light of desire, the light of satisfaction and gratitude. God bless you. Have a great day. We will return with a new Torah tomorrow.